Premiering in 2005, Kitchen Nightmares was the essential, no-nonsense expert fixes a service business by yelling at people television show. Hosted by Michelin star-winning restaurateur Gordon Ramsay, it was an episodic reality show that revolved around doing literally the same thing in every episode. There is a restaurant with an arrogant owner in crisis. Ramsay arrives, complains, has lunch, complains, and insults the people he is there to help. Ramsay watches a dinner service where everyone sends everything back, which I'm sure is not at all prompted. Despite it happening in every episode, Gordon loses his mind, chews them out for serving him food from their dirty kitchen, and storms out telling them all that they are the worst restaurant he's ever seen in all of his years. Then the next day he arrives and everyone is really sorry and willing to change. And then, through the power of Food Jesus, he blesses them with 3 new recipes, everyone is happy and the restaurant is saved. Then they all bask in the holy light that is Gordon Ramsay and tell us all how amazing he is.
Thank God for Ramsay.
As he rides off into the sunset to find another kitchen nightmare. For this is his calling. He is Food Christ. Minor deviations aside, this is the formula for every episode. And people love to watch other people get chewed out at work, so they rode this train into the ground for 7 seasons just in America. There was a British version of the show before that. An impressive legacy for a program, and honestly not a bad show. But one episode stands out more than any other. One episode where they actually captured lightning in a bottle and found real crazy people. Not just people willing to ham it up for a free restaurant makeover. One episode where the formula that I laid out above cannot be applied. One episode with people that were so insane, Ramsay does not raise his voice once. This legendary television program was season 6 of Kitchen Nightmares' finale, Amy's Baking Company. An episode so epic, it spawned an internet phenomenon, as well as turned a small business run by insane former criminal narcissists who I suspect were on cocaine, into a tourist attraction until it was forced to close down and the owners got deported. This is the story of Amy's Baking Company. To really understand where the producers of Kitchen Nightmares were both buffoons and geniuses to pick these 2 gems, you have to understand who Amy and Samy Bouzaglo are. They kind of gloss over this on the show, but their backgrounds were looked into shortly after. Backgrounds that led to Sammy's deportation back to Israel, which we'll talk about later. As far as Amy Bouzaglo goes, very little is known about her background, other than at one point she found herself in Vegas and met Sammy. Amy has been previously convicted of and served a year in custody for check fraud. Not exactly a normal thing that can be written off as easily as DWI or possession of marijuana, but nothing that would make me think she can't have a career and a normal life afterward. She's no Girl Scout, but not necessarily a hardened criminal. But what Amy is a world-class manic narcissist. Also, Amy loves her cats to a very strange degree.
They're my whole life besides my husband and my business. I speak feline. Meow, 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 meow.
What was the purpose of telling us that? So she is a good dessert chef who loves cats, got in some trouble writing bad checks, and is a self-centered narcissist. Not good things, but not necessarily a crime boss. Nothing that would make one of the most epic television episodes of all time. Sammy, on the other hand, is an Israeli national who's been convicted in multiple countries, multiple times, on charges of extortion, drug trafficking, and racketeering. There is some debate, due to his ridiculous, over-the-top behavior, that this is all an act, like maybe wrestling kayfabe.
It's not worth. You go! You! No, I'm kidding! You! I'm fed up. I'm getting sick and tired of you. Then answer my question. Then answer my question.
Yes, he is over the top. But when you look at his criminal past, and the fact he's legitimately banned from France and Germany for life. Yes, he is banned from 2 countries in Europe. Sammy is more legit than you might think. He's old at this point, he claims to be reformed and retired, but make no mistake, he was at one point involved in some gangsta behavior. And the cherry on top, when he came to the USA, he settled in Las Vegas of all places. Now, I don't want to poison the well too much here, but what do international narcotics smugglers and extremely thin younger blonde women have in common? Do I have any hard evidence of this other than their behavior? No. Am I asserting as a fact Amy is a massive cokehead? No, but I believe it. So these two human gems meet in Las Vegas. The narcissistic younger blonde woman who craves money that she doesn't have, and the retired Israeli dope millionaire. And well, I'll let Amy explain how it went down.
How long have we been married?
Almost 10 years.
Oh, yes, no,
we
wow.
got married 5 months after we met.
Wow.
Well, I prayed for him and God sent him to me, and I wasn't going to waste any time.
She said, forget you Sammy Hafner, enough.
He was a playboy in Vegas.
Yeah.
You were a playboy in Vegas?
Oh my God.
Wow.
He was.
Seriously?
He was. Even Hugh Hefner didn't have as beautiful of women as we did. All the playmates would come to our table. He was a playa, but with me, it didn't work like that. I am individual or nothing at all.
Once we got married,
That was it.
everything out.
Wow, way to make a question asked to Sammy all about you, Amy. In 2006, Amy convinced her new Israeli Las Vegas player husband to invest over $1 million in her dream, a bakery and bistro. And if asking for $1 million from a man who's already supporting you financially isn't narcissistic enough, she named it after herself, Amy's Baking Company. But to be honest, even Gordon Ramsay had to admit she is a talented dessert chef.
That's lovely.
Thank you.
And the ganache as well.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
Now, as we'll get into later, her dinners, especially her pizzas, seem to leave much to be desired from their customers. But she didn't have big problems with her food like the other Kitchen Nightmares restaurants. The pizza was a little undercooked, the salmon burger was dry, she should lose the garlic aioli on hamburgers. So the food wasn't necessarily terrible, provided you weren't a gourmet with a perfect palate like Gordon Ramsay, and the desserts were apparently legitimately amazing, even according to him. So for 2 years, this couple was successful. Amy's desserts were top-notch, and Sammy would run the front of house and work the point of sale machine. In the end, the place is a bistro and bakery. It's not downtown fine dining. With some common sense management, a good chef, and some consistent quality food, this is not a business that takes a real genius to run and make profitable enough to live an enjoyable and quiet life.
Meow, 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 meow.
Yes, provided you're not insane, on cocaine, or run into Joel L. on Yelp, a man who might have stumbled into being the most famous Yelper of all time. So Amy and Sammy, despite their personality flaws, were running a quiet, successful bakery in Scottsdale, the armpit of America. Everything was going as expected, staff turnover was a little high, and they got complaints like any other restaurant, but as far as the problems go, they didn't really start until right here. Now we know our players, the scene is set, let's start the real show. On August 2nd, 2010, a Yelper named Joel L. made a review of Amy's Baking Company. This review will live in infamy forever, because it was the spark that ignited the powder keg of their lives. And possibly one of the best examples of don't feed the trolls in history. After a bit of a disappointing dinner, Joel wrote this. In retrospect, I should have known better than to step foot into Amy's Baking Company, aka ABC Bistro. 8 p.m. on a Saturday night, 3 tables are occupied. A sign on the door indicates they're looking for an experienced line cook, a dishwasher, waitresses, you name it. Pita Jungle, just a stone's throw away, is packed to the gills. These are all bad signs. They go ignored, however, because I'd eaten one thing all day, and I had drove here to try their pizza. Never, ever again. The waitress brings me out a water and a menu to my table for one on the patio, which I had all to myself. Browsing the apps, I was pleasantly surprised to see several things priced $3. Which seemed like a bargain. Given the high price of everything else, $3 tamponade sounded like a good deal. But I was informed that it didn't come with anything. It was $3 extra for the bread. Since I was solo, I decided to skip it and instead pay $14 for their 12-inch margarita pizza. About 3 minutes later, the waitress drops off my pizza. "Your pizza," she says, leaves a plate and off she goes. I sat for a moment, confused as to how things happened so quickly. I tried to grab a slice of pizza, but it was so blazing hot that even I wasn't going to attempt to handle it. I waited for a few minutes to let it cool off, only to discover that it had not only cooled enough to handle, but was actually well cooled and most likely reheated. After a closer inspection of the pie in front of me, it was evident that it had been reheated, as there were smaller tomatoes that had spent their time in the oven and larger ones that had barely been kissed by the heat of the oven. I took a bite and was immediately underwhelmed. The crust had very little character, was slightly sweet, but had that store-bought quality to it. The pesto tasted okay, but the tomatoes were completely tasteless and overall just fell flat. It's margarita. The ingredients need to shine to make such a simple pizza. The ingredients were subpar. After 2 small pieces, I decided I was wasting my calories and just gave up on it. So I sat outside, not eating it, and sat. Where the hell was the waitress? I glanced inside a few times, hoping to catch her eye, but she must have been occupied elsewhere. The owner comes out. "How'd you like your pizza?" Instead of immediately responding, I asked how it had come out so quickly. In short, he told me another table had ordered it, they decided they didn't want it, and it sat in the kitchen for 2 minutes, who in turn decided to send it out to me since I didn't order anything else. Well, it didn't taste really fresh. No, our pizzas are the best. Ask our customers. You're the first person since we've opened to ever not like our pizzas." He got very defensive about the pizza, but I hadn't really launched a harsh criticism on the pizza, just that I didn't really enjoy it. So I sat some more with an empty drink and realized they wanted me gone. The owner wouldn't make eye contact with me, the server never came back asking if I wanted something else, and they still hadn't refilled my drink. So I sat on the patio, alone, and decided to have a smoke. The waitress comes out. "Sir, there's a no smoking sign over there. I was told to tell you not to smoke here." Is this the last fuck you in this experience? Yes, I think so. She walks away. I walk inside, pay the bill, and leave. No apologies, no discounts on the bill, nothing. $18 for a weak iced tea and a shitty pizza. This is arrogance in its worst form. I can forgive bad food, but I cannot forgive misplaced arrogance and the blatant dismissal of a customer, whether you agree with them or not. Perhaps the sign on the door should also say, "Wanted new owner." I cannot, for the life of me, recommend this restaurant to anyone. Joel L. So okay, let's talk about Joel's review and where he was just being unreasonable. First, even in 2010, it wasn't exactly normal to let people smoke on the patio at a nice restaurant. I smoked in 2010, and I had to leave the table and walk out into the parking lot normally if I wanted to smoke. At a bar and a grill with a big open patio, maybe, but at a supposed fine dining experience, get a grip, Yelp loser, you were smoking in the wrong spot. Secondly, with an entire open restaurant, you chose to sit on a patio and eat, in August, in Scottsdale, Arizona. Not a smart move, but it does cool down a bit out there, not so much in August, from what I remember, but whatever, it's your choice. He complains his pizza was too hot, which is kind of to be expected from an oven fresh pizza. Let it sit a moment, and then said it was reheated and too cold. Joel chose to eat at a place that had signs stating they were understaffed, and then cursed the waitress out for asking him not to do a thing people aren't really supposed to do everywhere. Kind of a nothing burger, really on its own. Joel was kind of a jerk, but it's a bad Yelp review written by an unhappy, mean person who takes out their frustrations impotently writing reviews online to make himself feel more important than he really is. You're not going to get away from this in this industry. What made this post so special was Amy's response to it. "Dear Joel L., it is blatantly obvious to me why you were alone on a Saturday night. Read any of the reviews that have been written about us and you will see that everyone loves us. The only people that don't is our competition. We know you had been sent by another restaurant before. You even ordered your $14 pizza. The pizza was fresh and amazing. The reason the tomatoes had different texture was because I used 3 different heirloom tomatoes and some of them are sun-dried, so of course they're gonna have a different texture from the fresh ones. Or perhaps you're only accustomed to tasting the ones that come fresh out of the can." Moving on to the store-bought dough comment, please. My dough is made fresh every day from 100% organic ingredients. Perhaps your palate is just not sophisticated enough to tell the difference. As for you having the patio all to yourself, unless you've been living on another planet, it's summertime in Arizona, moron. Only tramps and losers want to sit outside in 110-degree temperatures. Editor's note, why do you have tables on your porch? We're hiring because we're so busy we need to hire more people. You just so happen to come right after a huge rush. And the people did not change their mind for the margarita pizza they ordered. They were still enjoying their amazing Caesar salad and thought perhaps you would appreciate not having to wait so long for your pizza, which was just coming out of the oven. I am the chef and owner, and I'm the one who made your pizza. As for the no smoking comment, everyone knows that it's against the law to smoke within 20 feet of a public place. But perhaps you think you're above the law. Have a little respect. Not everyone wants to subject themselves to being around secondhand smoke. And as for the overpriced menu items, if you think that $12 is too much for an entree-sized organic salad, or $14 is too much for an amazing pizza, then maybe you should go to Pita Jungle that's just a stone throw away. And if you get lucky, maybe you can dig up someone else to take with you so you can share a $5 falafel. Do us a favor and keep your ugly face and ugly opinions to yourself and go back to the restaurant that you really work at. I would love for anyone who reads this review to come to ABC and try our pizza. If you don't like it, then I guarantee you don't have to pay for it. And with this, an online firestorm and local troll campaign against Amy's Baking Company began and lasted for the next 2 years until around October 2012. More bad Yelp reviews, people coming in to view this insane couple try to run a restaurant. According to Sammy, they had over 100 members of staff come and go at that time. Prank calls, people coming in to record in their place, it was trouble. And Amy responded to every bad review, troll or not, in her special Amy way, calling everyone a troll or a phony or whatever coke babble excuses she can come up with to just not ignore it. And every time she responded, 10 new trolls showed up to get another response. It adds up quickly when you spend all night with your husband fighting what you call the camel toe mafia.
Business owners that are working, trying to get our business going, and it's not fair to have someone to be able to just come in and slaughter your business and slander you and defame you for no reason because they're trying to shake you down for free food or for free drinks. They do it a lot. We call them the camel toe mafia. Bunch of pussies who hide behind their computer screens just writing stuff that's not true. Come say it to my face. Yeah.
This was, of course, until either by reputation they were contacted, or Amy and Sammy decided to reach out to the television show Kitchen Nightmares. Now, the story of how Amy and Sammy got on the Kitchen Nightmares program will change depending on how much time passes. Originally in the episode, Amy tells us that she contacted Kitchen Nightmares so Gordon Ramsay could validate that they have a clean restaurant with amazing food and maybe just needed a new point of sale or public relations update, in the hopes that this would be a huge own on her Reddit and Yelp haters. People who had been laughing at this insane couple for a while now. Now fast forward to 2018 and here's their news story.
And that's what started it. And then when Kitchen Nightmares reached out to us and asked us if we were interested in being on the show, we were like, no, because our food is delicious and we're united and we're not, thank God, in financial trouble. So there's no reason for you to come here. And because we know your show, we watch your show, we love your show. Right. And they were like, no, we know you have problems. We know lots of things happen. And I told them, I said, the only problem we have are issues with the Yelpers. And if you guys can come and help us with that, then come. We have nothing to hide. And so that's how it started.
So whether it was Kitchen Nightmares that hunted them down, or if they went to Fox themselves, a camera was sent in to make a submission video and see if these people were really as insane as they were led to believe. After all, you have to be at the very least a good actor and or an egomaniac as an owner to get picked on this show. This is Amy and Sammy on their best behavior.
The magic happens. And here we have the walk-in. Oh my God, it's a mess. The biggest problems with this restaurant would be my husband is too nervous in the front of the house.
Doesn't really have a customer service background in any way, shape, or form.
Can you film him? Do you see him? We can.
What's up? I'm chicken leg, no head. You go, I don't know where to start.
Sammy needs to be removed from this situation.
A lot of times I think the customers will probably not come back because of something that Sammy may have said to them.
And I myself have had a few incidents with customers. We're not perfect, but when people come in and they're not nice to us, we're not going to be nice back.
This is the first kitchen I've ever worked in where we're not really allowed to talk to each other.
Stop talking, everyone, stop, get out, no talking. I'm out here all by myself, screaming.
We had to stop because you were talking. That's okay. Hold on a second, hold on. I'm getting extremely nervous right now because I have so many things going on back here and I can't remember the questions you're asking because as soon as you ask me, I'm losing. On Yelp, horrible things were written about us that were not true. I retaliated and I told him what I thought about him. I told him that he was a loser and he was a moron, he was a tramp.
If you don't come in and spend $100 at least, it's like, I don't know.
Now, reality show producers are notoriously scum. So how can you, as a scummy reality show producer, turn that down? And keep in mind, between now and when they film in December, there is a complete change of staff. Not one of the people you see in the audition video still works there aside from Amy and Sammy. These people cannot keep employees to save their lives. The decision was made to produce an episode on Amy's baking company to be filmed in December. Obviously, when Kitchen Nightmares shows up to a restaurant, they aren't walking into a properly lit environment with everything wired up and ready to film and record a produced television show. Before Ramsay shows up, the production crew will typically arrive and do the setup and all that. And that's what they did the day before Kitchen Nightmares was to be filmed. Part of this, of course, is filming some test footage. Now, never before on Kitchen Nightmares did we get a full segment of the restaurant before Gordon arrives. Remember that formula we talked about earlier? But this time, instead of Gordon arriving and meeting everyone and getting served a meal, we are treated to a, quote, normal night at Amy's during dinner. A night that was described as one of the better nights at Amy's baking company by the staff. And I am 100% sure someone at Fox made a call and told the crew, keep it rolling, when they got the cameras set up and saw what went down in this restaurant.
Anything with 30, change it. We are ready. Okay.
Good evening. Do you guys know what you want? I can't do the computer, so he's the only one that has control over that.
But she is not allowed to input orders, pour wine, or handle money.
Move, I know.
Sammy thinks that he's doing everything all by himself.
4C.
But Sammy doesn't realize he's actually messing everything up.
Sammy.
Look all the orders I have.
What do you want?
Nothing. Go to the kitchen.
The diners are in for a long wait.
I've never waited this long for one pizza.
What is the problem with it?
Like the Caesar, this, I don't know.
Even you don't know what is wrong with it.
The egg is...
Okay.
Yeah.
If you came to eat to enjoy, then you should know what you like to eat, sir. Okay, Amy.
What?
Can you make me pear salad instead of that Caesar?
Seriously? Maybe they don't understand it doesn't come from a can.
Don't worry. I told them to off.
He's like all in the back, like yelling.
They say it's not cooked enough. 2B.
2B? Okay, Amy.
What?
2B is not cooked enough. Put it again in the oven.
Sure, I'll burn it for
Okay.
them. These people decide that they're going to come with my life.
We waited like an hour and a half. We never
I
had
know.
our pizza.
You guys are full of
Stop the red pepper ravioli and stop the
It's ready.
big.
Sammy.
Stop it. They're leaving. I don't care.
I am not going to do
Amy,
this.
stop it.
Then stop what? It's in the oven.
We're waiting on one pizza.
It's coming now. It's coming now.
You keep saying that. You've been saying that for an hour.
Where's my pizza?
Really?
Send him home.
Yeah, you have a pizza. It's coming. You want to wait? You wait. You don't want? Pay what did you have? And you off from here. Do you understand?
Sammy?
You serve. Go out. You out.
Get out
Don't
of
speak
here.
like this. Go out.
No.
Yeah, I pay and go. Stop. Where is Amy?
I'm in the office.
Don't call the police. You crazy?
Now, why would it be crazy to call the police? Unless, one, you know you're in the wrong here, which is possible but unlikely due to how narcissistic they both are and both their need to be right all the time. Or because there's something in this restaurant that isn't supposed to be there and Sammy knows it. Like a vial of blow in your wife's purse, for instance. Just a random example.
You pay. You don't go out. If you touch you come from here. You go. You.
Kidding me right
No, I'm kidding.
Calling the police!
Take the money. No, I want the money from him.
I am calling the police. You guys are
No, he's just calling the police.
I wonder why Sammy is so adamant about not calling the police, while his wife is having a manic fit. Almost like if a cop talks to her, he might become a bit suspicious of what she's been putting into her bloodstream that day and if there's any more of it laying around.
No, but hey, you're not touching him. Get away.
You are. You piece of.
You are a little pansy. Get
Amy,
out of here. Don't you
yeah.
ever come back here. You little weenie. Keep walking. This is, you guys, I make excellent food. You all think that you can come in here and say these things. Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous.
So now Fox knows they have a hit episode on their hands. All of these restaurants were kind of bad, but this was special. The place was immaculately clean, and seemingly the biggest problem was the owners. It's not that Amy can't cook, it's that she makes some pretty simple mistakes, which, if she could accept that she was wrong about anything, would be easily corrected. Again, the pizza's undercooked and confused, the salad has too much egg, and a number of things that just seem to come down to Amy doesn't have trained, experienced staff because she runs them all off. Something we will see an example of on night 1 with Gordon there. Remember, this is them on their best behavior with cameras rolling, hoping to stop all the trolling and show the world how awesome Amy's was. Despite that not being what a show called Kitchen Nightmares would ever be about.
With very little knowledge of the previous night's dinner service,
Amy's Baking Company.
Chef Ramsay arrives looking to find out why Amy's baking company needs his help.
I love desserts.
Hey, chef.
Oh, you broke your cherry.
How are you?
How are you doing?
Nice to see you. First name is?
Sammy.
Sammy, good
I'm
to
the
see you.
owner.
You're
Thank
the
you.
owner.
Yes.
Wow. Well, look at that.
Yeah. Amy,
Yes.
Gordon Ramsay want to meet you. He want to know who is the chef of who does all those beautiful.
Come
Here is
round,
my
please.
wife.
Come round, my darling.
So nice to meet
I'll
you.
give him a hug.
Did you make them?
Yes, I did.
Incredible.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise. Good to
you.
see you. I mean, they're extraordinary.
Okay.
Jeez.
Oh my God. Okay.
Who's the head chef?
I am.
Yeah, hold on. Stop. Holy crap. You got lucky.
I'm the lucky one. He is my soulmate, and we're in this business together.
Fine,
And we
fine.
stand strong together.
Can I have a quick look at the kitchen?
Of course.
Normally, owners don't like it when I inspect kitchens, but the floor's shiny. It's like a basketball court.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Bloody
Thank
hell.
you for saying the truth.
Oh my goodness me. Is this a joke? I mean, look, dates, labels,
Yes, everything, yeah.
sectioned off. Wow, what a pleasure.
The restaurant itself is very clean and nice, but it's Amy and Sammy that are the problem. Do not judge a book by its cover.
How long have you been married?
Almost 10 years.
Oh, yes, no,
We
wow.
got married 5 months after we met.
Wow.
Well, I prayed for him, and God sent him to me, and I wasn't going to waste any time.
She said, forget you Sammy Hafner, enough.
He was a playboy in
she
Vegas.
told me, yeah.
You were a playboy in Vegas.
Oh my God.
Stop.
He was.
Seriously?
He was. Even Hugh Hefner didn't have as beautiful of women as we did. All the playmates would come to our table. He was a playa, but with me, it didn't work like that. I am individual or nothing at all.
Once we got married,
That was it.
everything out.
Were you trained in the industry?
No, not at
No?
all.
So
I'm a
you're back-
developer. I build custom houses.
Oh.
But when the crisis started, I said, I still have money. What do you want me to do with it? She begged me. She said, my dream, it was to open a restaurant.
Oh, are you just gonna leave that part about being an ex-gangster and drug smuggler who's banned from 2 countries in Europe out? A developer, huh? Never heard that before. I thought they were supposed to say they were union delegates.
Throughout my life, had a passion and a God-given talent for it, and this is all I want to do.
That's lovely.
Thank you.
And the Ganesh as well.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
We don't run without each other here.
You're kidding me.
No.
That's no way to run a business.
We can't find qualified people to work. They want to come and get a
For 6
paycheck
years we've
and
been
not
trying.
work.
In Arizona?
I can count on them. I can trust them.
They're dirty. They're lazy.
How many people have you been through?
A lot.
A few hundred.
A lot.
A few hundred?
Yeah.
So other than an issue with staff, what's wrong with this bloody restaurant?
I have issues with customers that are trying to be online bullies and say horrible things.
Online bullies.
They're online bullies and write things that are not true. They write that I have
It's the internet.
store-bought dough. They write that things are frozen. I understand that, but those things are not true.
But when did this start?
2.5 years ago,
This guy came in that started this entire online bullying.
he ordered pizza margarita. And after I say, okay, how is your pizza? He said, it's a frozen pizza. The next day he went and gave us a review. Oh my God.
You wrote back to him.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Well,
Why?
he insulted
Yeah,
me first,
he did.
and I attacked back. I'm not going to let anybody bully me. Bully my husband, that's a joke. Well, they called me Crazy Amy B because I stood up to them,
It's
and
like-
I need people
who respect you, who know that you have earned your stripes in the kitchen and in life.
There's something not quite right here. Are you a control freak?
I am.
Is
We are
Amy?
enemy worse.
What a combination.
We have to clone us.
Clone us.
Do you have children?
Well, we have 3 little boys, but they're trapped inside cat bodies. Meow.
Yeah.
They're my whole life besides my husband and my business. I speak feline. Meow, 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 meow.
You are both nuts.
I know.
As you can see, Chef Ramsay seems to be getting a sense that the quirky people he's been sent to make a television program with might be a bit more on the batshit crazy side. But sticking to the formula of the show, he sits down to try a few dishes off the lunch menu and observe how the restaurant functions.
Hello.
How are you, my darling?
Good.
Is it just you and Sammy in the front of the house?
It's pretty much just me.
And how long have you been here?
A month and a half.
Good tips?
I don't make tips.
Say that again.
I make hourly.
Serious? You must be the only server in this country
I know.
that doesn't get tipped out. So where do the tips go?
The owner.
I can't believe that.
I know. I try to tell him.
Wow. Miranda, the young girl?
Yeah.
You don't give her tips?
No.
Sammy,
Yeah.
you cannot take servers' tips.
I'm doing the most of the job.
Wow. I'm ready to order.
I believe that once Chef Ramsay tastes my food, as a chef, he'll be able to tell that this is what God wants me to do.
What's that doorbell? It keeps on going off every 2 minutes. What is that doorbell on the side of the wall for?
Whenever we have dirty dishes, we ring it, and then the busser comes and grabs the dishes from there.
Why wouldn't you walk around and just put the plates in the pot wash? Oh, ding dong. Sammy,
Yeah.
does Miranda use the POS system?
No, she does not yet. Nobody's. I'm the only one who uses it. Yeah.
Miranda, have you ever worked on a POS system?
Yes, at every job that I've worked at.
Every job. And how many jobs have you had before you worked at ABC?
A lot.
She doesn't need training. She knows how to do it. Thank you.
Ah, it's for, yes.
Thank you. The fig and pear and prosciutto pizza. It's very, very sweet. And my dough's raw. The dough is raw. Dude, I finished. It's raw. It's doughy.
I don't know how it come out today like this,
Well-
but normally they love that pizza. It's really, really lovely.
I'm telling you what I'm getting, and it's raw.
Oh my God, I don't think he liked it. What's wrong?
Nothing.
I feel like Sammy sugarcoats a lot of what happens in the restaurant. So Amy gets this feeling that like everything she's doing is correct, everything's right.
I know my wife. She doesn't take the criticism. She will be shaking, and then she say, "That's it. I'm leaving."
Chef Ramsay has been sitting at the table for well over an hour.
Okay. Thank you. Wow. Blue cheese, mushrooms, marinated, garlic aioli, and a soggy bun that's just full of grease. Come on. Well, medium rare is not. And look, that is one burger. Thank you.
Red pepper ravioli. There you go.
How's the salmon burger doing?
I'll go check on that. He wanted to know how long on the salmon burger.
It's on its way,
Okay.
Miranda. You don't need to keep reminding us. We know, okay?
I was just saying.
I know, but you don't need to come tell us. We know that it needs to go out.
Smells weird. Oh, here's my salmon burger. Wow. Thank you, darling.
You're welcome.
Oh, God. What a mess. That has to be one of the most confused ravioli dishes I've ever seen and tasted in my entire life. Are these store-bought?
Yes, Dragoli, yes.
You told me that this was
Yes.
store-bought, then I wouldn't have ordered it.
Ah, okay. I didn't tell you. No, I didn't tell you that.
Thank you. This is what I've been waiting for. So it's like a salmon cake, crab cake, burger. It's overcooked,
Do you want me to take that?
please, because it is like eating dry cat food. Do you want to take a sample?
No, I really don't.
Amy,
Yes.
that was a lot longer than I expected, and you know there were some big bumps in that meal.
What kind of bumps? What didn't you like?
Let's go through it later.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go get changed.
Okay.
And I wanna see how this place functions. And then after service, cover all the points.
You look disappointed.
I am disappointed.
Okay.
Okay, a lot of things just went wrong. First, as talented a dessert chef as Amy might be, she's a mediocre cook at best with everything else. Not bad. If you're familiar with how Ramsay usually reacts in the US version, his criticism here of the food is actually pretty tame. The pizza's soggy, the burger's undercooked, stuff like that. Here's the real kicker. Anyone even mildly familiar with the show knows serving store-bought frozen ravioli to Chef Ramsay is like serving him raw poison human baby parts. He's not going to let that go. He never does. It happens all the time. But what really seemed to bother him was the treatment of the staff, in more ways than one. Ringing a doorbell to get the pot washers to come bust a table, not allowing the servers to use the POS system because gangster Sammy doesn't trust nobody with the money. But most importantly, the owner taking tips people are leaving for the servers. Now let's address this honestly. There's blame on both sides. The servers are paid hourly, and that's fine. Some would say preferable to making $2 an hour plus tips. So it's not like a situation at a diner where the owner is shaking down a single mother for her tips at the end of the night, leaving her with a $2 paycheck. But if that is your policy, you have an obligation to make that known in America, where the standard is leaving a 20% tip on the table. That's how it is 99.99% of the time when you go out to eat at a restaurant. If you receive good service from your server, you tip them. It doesn't mean the servers have to make their wages known to every customer, but even just a sign on the door saying, hey, good news, we believe in paying our servers a full and fair salary. There is no need to tip. If you want to show gratuity, there is a jar next to the register that goes into a bonus tip pool for everyone at the end of the night. That's it. The problem is the customers will always tip if they don't know that. And they do so to show gratuity to the wait staff, not the owners. And then Sammy swoops in and takes every server's tip for the entire night that the customers intended to go to someone else. This is the real problem. The Israeli gangster is pulling a cash scheme to the tune of probably a couple hundred a day. It's cash on the table, never gets taxed. This is right up a gangster's alley. As you can see, Amy's being shielded from any criticism because, as Sammy told us, she has a habit of falling to pieces and having a full-on breakdown when things go wrong. So what do you think is going to happen at a dinner service in a small place like Scottsdale at a restaurant that has a television crew and they're rolling for 2 days that is notorious for abusing the staff and customers and has an extensive troll following? Classic television, that's what.
Okay, listen, we're gonna start to get ready, you guys. We're gonna open. And I do the pizzas. I have people tell me it's the best pizza that they've ever had in their life.
My pizza today was undercooked. So why can't you go and tell your wife?
Because
Sweetheart,
I know my
pizza,
wife.
wake up, is undercooked.
I don't think your pizza was undercooked. I checked it when I took it out of the oven, just like I do every other pizza. And to me, it was crispy on the bottom. When I cut it,
Right.
it was crunchy.
Okay.
So to me, it wasn't wrong.
Okay, so that's your version because you
Sure.
didn't see it come back. The bun for the beef burger was soggy as anything. Blue cheese, marinated mushrooms, crispy bacon bits, white truffle oil. Who comes up with those ideas?
I did. Chef Ramsay is standing there riding my ass about white truffle oil and garlic aioli. Oh my God, like he's never heard of any flavor profile in the world as disgusting.
And the salmon burger was like a salmon fish cake in between a dry bun.
But it was a dry bun or it was a soggy bun?
That was dry pate, dry.
It's good like that.
There's no point me saying anything to you because you just well, it's good like that.
Whatever.
The raviolis, do you cook them from frozen?
Yes, we do.
Do you know how you can make these better?
What? Yes, I can make them from scratch.
No, but take them off.
Oh yes, of course. Why don't I
Well,
just
I'm trying
delete
to show
everything
you
from my
the-
menu?
I'm just trying
And
to
then
s-
close my doors. What do you want me to sell?
These are store-bought
I
crap
understand
frozen
that.
ravioli.
They're not crap, and they're delicious. And the first time I've ever.
oh
Okay.
my
Did you
God.
taste it? You didn't taste that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 seconds, please. The owner is trying to pull the wool over your eyes by offering you frozen raviolis that aren't even made within 500 miles of this front door. So would you mind, personally, if I 86 them to stop you from eating crab?
Okay, listen.
Yeah.
No more raviolis
No
for
more
today.
raviolis
Yeah.
and no more hamburgers and no more salmon burgers. People
Yes.
can only have cakes tonight.
Okay.
Okay? I'm good with that.
Are we used to waiting on something?
Yeah.
What is it that you're waiting on?
Pasta. Just spicy pasta.
The pasta rustica?
Yes. Is that coming?
They should have pasta rustica.
It is. No, I don't have it.
Sammy, Sammy, I did write it down for you.
Oh, it was here?
It's right there.
What is it?
Pasta rustica.
I see you did here.
4B. No, 5B.
Are you sure?
You don't need to question me, Katie. You can go home right now.
I'm sorry.
Sammy,
Yes, darling.
I would appreciate it if you would send Katie home right now. Am I sure?
What a little...
And it doesn't appear to be worth the wait.
You can take this back too.
You didn't like it? Okay.
Just ignore him. I am ignoring everything that's happening.
So if they didn't like it, what are we going to do about it?
Let's wait. We finish today.
The kitchen needs to know.
Okay, then I'm going to tell her.
Thank you.
Okay. Amy, this is the summit. They didn't like it.
For me, this is all...
Wow, $10 tip.
Yeah.
That's nice. For you?
Of course, yeah. Why not?
Do you think the girls deserve some tips tonight?
No.
Sir, the tip that you left, the young lady server, the owner takes the tips. Don't with me.
Yeah, I will with you.
Yeah.
Who the you think you are?
I'm fed up. I'm getting sick and tired of your Well then, answer my question. Tell the customers they're going to get their tips.
No, they don't.
They should be told that you're taking them because this servers deserve them.
You want to speak with me?
Yeah, I want to speak.
With me? I will with you.
With you.
Then I will you.
Oh my God, what a joke. Yeah, we're closed. We're closing the kitchen. I think, Katie, you can go. For sure. I'm talking to you, Katie.
Okay.
Katie, listen to me when I'm speaking to you. Do not walk away from me. You don't work here anymore, okay? I'm talking to you.
I wasn't doing anything.
I wasn't doing anything. Hey, I quit.
No, you're not.
She is quitting. She has an attitude. She comes to the kitchen tonight. She's like, I set a table. She said, are you sure? Are you my boss?
She doesn't work here anymore. She's a poisonous little viper, and I don't allow people that have an attitude in my restaurant. What does she know? Who the hell is she? She is gone. That's who she is.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
I just want to make this clear again. When this came out, that was great TV. So Gordon starts the evening by giving Amy all that criticism he held back earlier about his lunch. You know, in case she wasn't neurotic enough. Then his dinner service kicks off. Food starts coming back. A lot of food. And this drives Amy's stress levels even higher. You will never convince me that people don't go into these filmings sometimes just to send food back. Or that they're not at least instructed to do so. I've worked in restaurants, I've eaten in restaurants my whole life, and I have never seen so many people send food back as I do on any given episode of Kitchen Nightmares. Then the whole situation boils over, as not only does Gordon bust out Sammy on his tip-stealing scheme in public, prompting Sammy to utter the epic words, "I am the gangster, not you."
Well then, answer my question.
But Amy shuts down the kitchen just like Sammy said she would, and goes back to bullying Katie on camera to the point where the poor girl breaks out in tears and quits on national television. It was amazing in its time. These people were the most hated couple in America for a bit. Not only was Sammy hijacking tips from all of the servers every night, if they weren't chipper enough about it, Amy would abuse and fire them. Classic. But the night didn't end there. Ramsay once again sat down with the couple to try to make some sense out of all this, of course, with the cameras rolling.
Now you've just fired a young girl. But just take a big deep breath and see if we can get some form of resolution here. You're shaking your head already.
I'm listening.
It's become evident that you can't take criticism. Why is that?
Are you seriously asking me why I'm so
Okay, yes,
Yeah, I am.
You don't have to cry here. I
I'm
don't want you
not
to cry. You
going-
don't have to cry.
I'm not going to cry, Sammy.
Just
I'm
quiet.
trying to speak and
Just
take
quiet.
out my
He's trying.
a conversation.
Okay.
No one lets me speak.
Let me talk.
I know that, but you're not listening to me.
I know what you. I listen to you. We listen to you.
I'm
when
trying
we-
to.
I
He
tell
asked
you
me a
exactly
question.
what I know.
What I do normally is good. I don't have people sending things back to me.
Because food comes back, it goes straight to the dishwasher. That's what the whole issue is. You've been avoiding everything. Tomorrow, I want you open-minded, okay? You as well, Sammy.
I don't make promises that I know I can't keep. I'm going to do everything within myself to try.
All you're getting from me is the truth. Right now, that's what you need. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
It is at this point in our story that things get a little contradictory. Gordon leaves that evening and supposedly shows up at the restaurant the next day, but it's closed. So he goes out and speaks with a few of the previous employees from the submission video, and it's just more of what we already know. Amy's insane, possibly on dope, and Sammy thinks he's a gangster. He makes the busboys wash his car. Now, the story Kitchen Nightmares would have you believe is as follows.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Sammy. Today is a new day.
We want to clarify a few things.
Please, should we sit down?
So there's no animosity, of
Sit
course,
down.
yes.
Let's clarify a few things.
What I have a problem with were the comments you were saying to me last night while I was trying to focus on the food.
When I'm told that the raviolis are freshly made...
I didn't tell you that.
Can I finish? Sorry, when your husband told me that the raviolis were fresh, I ordered them. And the raviolis were disgusting. I told you about the burger, you refused to listen.
I did not. I
Every
asked
time
you
I tell
what
you
was
something,
wrong with it.
you come back with an excuse.
I kept
After
asking you
excuse,
what's wrong
after
and you couldn't...
But the way you screamed at that young girl last night...
Would you let anybody come into your restaurant, in your kitchen, and speak to you the way that that kid spoke to me last night? Would you? Do you think we're going to let someone hold a gun to our head and we're going to give them our ass and let them do anything they want from us?
All she asked is,
No, she
are
did
you
it with
sure?
an attitude. Okay.
Now
Okay.
you're over-exaggerating again.
All right.
But you'll
Okay.
blame her and you'll blame the customers. But customers were waiting for their food through your husband's mistake.
But okay, we're going to forget yesterday.
Right.
We're going to start, if we continue the show, we're going to start from scratch.
I met Jessica and Henry this morning, and I got told some awful things.
Like what?
The way you treat staff. They have to clean cars in the middle of service because the boss wants his car cleaned. And then witnessing over 50 staff being fired.
You're saying that?
I am.
Can you prove that to me?
Here we go
50
again.
staff?
Look at your eyes.
That's because you're
look
saying
how
lies.
bitter you are. Have you not had a turnover of more than 50 people?
She was wrong. 100 or even more than 100.
I need a drink of water, excuse
drink
me.
water.
You're going to run off again?
Yesterday I didn't even eat or drink, and I have to drink water. Are you going to attack me for wanting to drink some water too? My God. I don't even know why we came back here. I'm going home.
Now you're going home?
This is such nobody even is listening to me. They're going to go by Jessica. This, oh my God, unbelievable. These people are incredible. And I've had enough. And come here to be abused, my own restaurant. I want to go home. We have been attacked.
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 Why are you behaving like this?
Because I'm insulted. You verbally insulted me yesterday, and I held my
told you
tongue
the
out of
truth.
class. I didn't tell you the truth. I didn't
Why are you
say
pointing?
nasty things to you.
Really?
Okay, really, I didn't really.
When I told you about the burger, you refused to listen.
You're standing here
What about
talking
when you
my
cooked for
husband.
me?
What about when I cooked for you?
Who distracted you then?
Everybody. What are you talking about?
Blaming everybody again. In your little Amy's world, that everything you cook, touch, send, it's perfect.
I do not. You're attacking my business and my life. This is
I'm
all
telling
I
you the
do is
problems.
live this life every day. You're not telling me the problems. You are saying I'm delusional, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this.
That you cannot talk to her, your wife, and the issues. That she can't take criticism before I met
That's
her.
fine. I have no problem saying that.
That's fine. Wow. I think you're too far gone.
Okay, then let's end the show. You think I'm too far gone? There's no hope. Yalla, yalla. It's Christmas. Let's go home.
I'm not going to butt heads, argue, scream, whatever you want to say. But this is not normal. You have the right to run the business the way you want to run your business. I have the right to do the right thing. And the right thing for me is to get out of here. Good luck.
Now, notice the words he used. The right thing for me is to get out of here. Good luck. This is framed and presented as the only kitchen nightmare Gordon Ramsay quit on. But did he really? I'm not usually inclined to believe Sammy and Amy's version of many things, but for some reason this next portion, I do. Here's a clip of them describing what happened on the Breaking Into Reality podcast.
So, yours was the first episode on Kitchen Nightmares where Gordon actually, left. He said he can't help you and walked out. So were you surprised when that happened?
I was surprised when he said that. I was surprised when I watched it and he said, I'm leaving because Amy's incapable of listening and cannot take criticism. I was like, did you forget that I sent you guys an email in the middle of the night after the second night of filming telling you I will not participate in your reindeer games anymore? Because we stopped the filming because he told us, or told the world, that my husband was stealing the tips, and there were lots of things that went on, and we said, no, we're not participating in this anymore. We absolutely refused to participate. So we were very surprised when they told the world that they were leaving because they couldn't help us.
And this is a story that has been consistent with them over the years, unlike every other story they've ever told.
That time, Amy shut down the production and said that she didn't desire to participate, and she contacted the production team another day and informed them that they didn't want to show their restaurant on air.
So why do I believe this and not the other assorted narcissistic nonsense they vomit back at all their critics? Well, for one, Gordon Ramsay is not that big of a star to Fox or Sony. He's a television oddity, not a movie star, not a major showrunner they can put in other things. He's profitable, but I just don't want to do this anymore isn't gonna cut it. Nor is it really his call to make. In other interviews regarding Kitchen Nightmares, all of the restaurateurs agreed they never even saw Ramsay until it was time to film. He's not the expert in the room calling all of the shots that you would think he is. This isn't his show, despite his name being on it, and that's not uncommon. The show belongs to the studio. The studio is Gordon Ramsay's boss. And the studio isn't going to just give up on something like this because Ramsay doesn't know if he can help. It actually makes more sense that the couple did call after this dinner and tell them to shut down production. That's not only in character for Amy and Sammy, thinking they can just back out of something they agreed to do. It's the only scenario that makes sense. This is why Gordon said, "I'm getting out of here," instead of, "I quit, you donuts." As far as they were concerned, the show was already over. This is just a little wrap-up conversation. You even hear Sammy saying, "If we continue, we start fresh." The couple thought they had already given Ramsay the boot the night before and he was trying to beg his way back in. It's the one thing they have ever said that stayed consistent and makes sense when you think about it. Am I mad that I think the show lied and framed it a different way? No, it's a television show. But with the real-life fallout that occurred for the next 2 years with these people, perhaps the record should have been made clear at some point. So for 6 months after the incident, nothing happened. The Bouzaglos thought they had canceled the episode and things were back to normal. Well, normal for Amy and Sammy. Then Amy got a call in May stating, "Get ready," ominously. The episode was going to air. And it was going to be the season finale for season 6 of the show. Back to the show's established formula. This is the second big reason why it was not adhered to. Instead of any kind of redemption at the end of the show, they would just front load the episode with the footage they got the night before Ramsay showed up and end it when he supposedly quits. No formula, no redemption, just the two worst people the Kitchen Nightmares audience had ever seen. And how do you think people reacted to that? When Kitchen Nightmares with Amy's Baking Company first aired, it was aired in Canada a week before the United States, where the Bouzaglos could not see it during the premiere. This was before VPNs and streaming services. So a week before they were told it was going to air and to be ready, the world got a little preview. Suddenly, the restaurant was flooded with angry calls from bloodthirsty Canadians who wanted to tell Amy and Sammy what terrible people they are, despite not living within 1,000 miles of Scottsdale.
But tell me about that whole community and what happened.
What happened after the filming, after Kitchen Nightmares left, nothing happened because nobody knew why they left. Everything was very quiet. Our community was kind of like, what is going on? Why is Kitchen Nightmares gone? Where did Amy and Sammy put the bodies? Right? It was just like, what's going on here?
They're all gone.
They're all gone. And then, of course, everything
when the show aired,
yeah, we
right,
because they filmed it in December, and then we received a telephone call in May from the publicist telling me, "Get ready," and I was like, "Get ready for what? You guys aren't airing the show. You didn't finish. There was nothing to finish." And she's like, "Get ready," and she told me that we were the season finale, and so I told my husband, "Oh, darling, get ready. They're going to slaughter us."
We have no idea what it's going to be, right?
No, we knew it was going to be kind of negative towards us, of course. And then we were expecting the show to come out a week later, and they aired it in Canada first. And so all of a sudden, we have all of these beloved customers from Canada. We love Canadians, and I start receiving all of these telephone calls from Canada, Saskatchewan, from these people telling us to go F ourselves and we're psychotic and go kill ourselves. And we're like, what the hell is wrong with you? The Canadians are so nice. What's wrong with you? And then
How did they find out about us?
Yeah, exactly. They saw the show first. And this is before anything happened online. So we were like, oh my God, if this is the feedback we get from the show, you know, it's going to be pretty tough.
I was kind of want to be open for the entertainment purposes. So
You wanted to go in and eat?
I did not want to go in and eat, but I definitely, well, the desserts look good.
Okay, that's inconvenient, but the mess isn't in your own backyard. Yet. When the US episode was aired on May 10th, 2013, all hell broke loose. Amy and Sammy closed the restaurant for a week, incurring even more bad reviews from people who wanted to go see America's new sideshow restaurant.
A lot of negativity, negative comments about this ever since they had that appearance on national television.
You son, go! You
Look at him. He's like, where's my pizza?
You go. You.
Tonight, the kitchen's closed as the owners prepare for another grand opening. We're hearing another side of that story as well.
The doors are still closed at Amy's Baking Company in Scottsdale, but people are flooding in, still wanting to see this after all of the attention it's garnered in the last 72 hours. But tonight we're hearing from one of the people who would not step foot in this building again. It's the hottest restaurant in Scottsdale, and for the second day in a row, no one can get a table at Amy's Baking Company.
They're closed.
Customers weren't allowed in, but I was around back without the camera. Owners Amy and Samy Bouzaglo, seen here, told me they've hired a public relations firm and are planning a grand reopening. Beyond that, they had no further comment. Outside, the number of gawkers was growing.
You can't buy this kind of advertising.
But across the way, we met a woman who'd rather not return to Amy's. She's Katie Cipriano, the waitress Amy fired on reality TV.
None of it was scripted.
She says the camera caught the truth of what it was like working at ABC and that those ugly moments created a lot of curiosity.
I think they just want to see if Amy's going to have the same reaction, if she's going to have another meltdown.
On May 21st, Amy's will host its reopening celebration. Their PR team calls it a chance for people to experience the couple and their food for themselves. Believe it or not, Katie would love to make a reservation.
I wish I could go to it. I just want to see what it's going to be like. I think it's going to be another Kitchen Nightmares round 2.
They hired a PR firm who told them to lean into it, and the hellfire of judgment from the American public began. Prank calls, customers coming in just to harass and mock them every day, and thousands of online posts on Facebook, Yelp, and Reddit. And Amy was still responding to them all. Anyone who has ever dealt with the internet for even a day will tell you this is a no-win situation unless you ignore it.
Listen, you don't throw gas on a fire. Why take the bait?
And this is where the cope started to get really desperate. Amy and Sammy tried the old, it was all Iranian super hackers excuse.
What happened with Facebook, with the allegations that you had been hacked?
Every single post that was written calling people and making fun of them for not making money did not come from us. We didn't say those things. Now we are, because now you have lit the fire inside of us. Now when we're calling people little trolls and telling them that they have no balls, yes, that's us. Because I think it takes a very special kind of person. It's called a eunuch to be able to call someone and bully them over the phone or through the internet when you don't know who they are.
Nobody make money because those trolls.
Sammy even tried to claim that Chef Ramsay had sexually harassed his wife.
But the only thing that pissed me off is when he sexually harassed my wife in the kitchen. This is why I went crazy about him. It's the only reason, not because he criticized my wife's food. It's a show. I helped him to have his show. But when he criticized when he tried to sexually harass my wife and accused me of stealing the tip, it's gone, it's finished. And this is why I dragged them out, like I dragged his trolls and his actors.
How did he sexually harass your wife?
Well, Amy can tell you because she's the one who, she can tell you what, she's the one who was there. It's 18 months behind us, or even it was 2 years because it was 6 months before they film it. They aired it 18 months ago. I think it's the time to forget about Gordon Ramsay, and it's the time for us to go forward. And my wife coming with her cookbook.
The trolling in real life of the couple had gotten so intense in some cases, many cases, it ended in Sammy getting violent, as he is elderly, an ex-dope smuggler, and could easily be made confused and paranoid not knowing who the haters were and who the real customers were. This behavior included pulling a knife on one patron.
It's
not worth it. Hey, you're going to go to jail for the rest of your life. Think about what you're doing. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
He's a coward.
Nevertheless, America had Amy's fever. The public had decided that these two were to be punished for the way they stole from their staff, which was actually super dirty. The firing of Katie also meant blood. But they fired a teenager from a $14 an hour waitress job. It's not the end of the world for anyone. In fact, I'm sure due to all this, she was offered plenty of other jobs, better ones. I mean, what did they really do other than be manic, neurotic people? They respond. If you call them, they would answer. Not a service, not an employee, Amy and Sammy themselves.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling Amy's Baking Company.
Hello, I just had a few questions about the menu.
Sure.
Alright, I read on a review that some of your food is frozen. Is that true?
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you believe everything that you read online? If so, I have a beautiful piece of oceanfront property for sale for you right here in the desert. If people tell you to go jump off a cliff, are you going to do that too because you read it online?
Maybe.
Huh?
Maybe.
Okay, then I'm going to go write it online, and I hope that you jump off the cliff, okay?
Okay. It's going on YouTube.
Hello?
Hello, I read some of the 5-star reviews were faked. Is that true?
Sorry, what did you ask? What did you say?
I was reading on your reviews online, and it said that some of the 5-star reviews you guys wrote. Is that true?
Yeah, do you know what? Go fuck yourself with all the people. Do you know what that means? Go fuck yourself in English. This is in English, okay?
Yeah, do you speak English?
Fuck you.
Amy and Sammy still hung around the restaurant every day instead of hiring a manager. They were just too hated and accessible to avoid being trolled every single moment of their professional lives after this. And it never really stopped. The show became Kitchen Nightmare's biggest hit episode ever. Not only did they end season 6 with the Amy's Baking Company episode, they began season 7 with a whole episode just looking back at it. The entire episode is raping and pillaging the footage we already saw with a forward from Gordon Ramsay, and they added about 4 minutes of extra never before seen footage. The only other highlight was an interview with Amy and Sammy.
Just sit down. Just don't worry.
Hi, Sammy. Anna Garcia from Kitchen Nightmares. How are you?
Kitchen Nightmares?
Yes.
Oh, good. Yes.
Can we come in and talk?
Yes, you can come
Thank
in,
you
yes.
so much. Thank
Please
you.
come in,
I
yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Do you have a few minutes for us?
No. You come what? To talk to me.
I'd love to talk with you.
No, you talk to me and I want money because this time from Kitchen Nightmare I want money. I will bury him first and bury your Kitchen Nightmare also because you did it on purpose. You set me up and this is what you did. You tried to bury us alive. And you didn't do yet and I won't let nobody to do it. I'm going to go against Fox, against Gordon Ramsay, Kitchen Nightmare.
Let me show you something. It's disgusting. So I posted, I took a screen, Sammy.
Who is he? He has no balls. He's jealous of my balls. This is what he is.
I know the people that came here were Yelpers because I have proof of it. They were on Yelp talking about it after they were filming and before they were coming here. This is not stuff that I've invented. I'm not delusional. Has it been stressful? Stressful, yes, it's been very stressful. We've had people walk through my doors, come casually over here like this, walk over, look at the display case, keep going like this. People come here to try to set us up because they think it's funny because they have a for Gordon Ramsay. There was one person, he left on this plate, and I have it in my office, and I have the surveillance camera proof of it. He puts a giant rubber cockroach on the plate and left it there. It's not gonna work here. We stood up to Gordon Ramsay, we're gonna stand up to the world, because we don't go down without a fight. We have to show the world and every single business owner out there that you have to stand up. You cannot let anyone shake you down. We have a voice, he has a voice, and it's up to us to stay strong and to show our true product and what we really have to offer here at Amy's Baking Company. And that's it. Gordon Ramsay also, during the filming, I asked him, I said, would you let anybody come into your kitchen and give you the kind of attitude that Katie gave me and not fire them? He said, yeah. That to me shows me that he's a pansy. If so, I stand up
you
to
got
women in my
criticized
kitchen.
for using that word, Amy.
The reason I said he was a pansy is because the same reason I call these Yelpers and these people that hide behind the computer screen the mafia. They are pansies. They have no balls, because if they had balls, they would come to my face, my husband's face, and tell us exactly all this stuff, that the lies, the slanderous stuff that they say online, instead of just hiding behind their computer screen.
It's not worth it. Hey, you're gonna go to jail for the rest of your life. Think about what you're doing. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
He's a coward. I called that guy a pansy because he was a pale-faced pansy-ass willow. That's exactly what I call him. Yes, I'm going to say things if someone attacks me. I'm not going to stop. The reason that he didn't tell me each plate was getting sent back is because he knew that Gordon Ramsay was full of. He protects me, I protect him. People love us because we stand together and we are united. Yes, he and I will fight to the death for each other, no doubt. You come and you try to attack us, I'm going to be like a fierce lion. I'm going to attack anybody that's coming to try to hurt my husband or my business.
I have enough money to keep my business as long till the stupid people become smart. And then they come again to us. And they will. We are not the ones Gordon Ramsay represents us. We are not at all. We are not a villain, a gangster, or what. I am reformed and I give up.
But you did say to Gordon, I'm a gangster.
Well,
I mean, you
will
did
say
say
it
that.
again. I will say it again if somebody, because I am the one who can go on top of him. He cannot go on top of me. I can promise you. Not him and not all his people.
Mr. Ramsay, for all the respect that I had for you, I ask you now to really put the truth and really give us a chance. Really give us a chance.
Who is it to give you a chance?
Because he tried to destroy us.
Well,
he has control of these cameras.
He doesn't give us chance.
He has
Everybody.
control over
Come
these
on,
cameras.
what chance?
They edited us.
I need him to give me a chance.
Well, obviously, the whole world thinks that we're
He
psychotic
killed you
because
already.
of the way that they
He
edited
killed
us.
you already. You think he's going to come and say, no, the food is good? I was joking.
As you can see, their PR firm gave them the only survivable advice. Roll with it. You're the crazy gangster couple.
They're trying to cash in on their notoriety. If you go to their website, they're selling t-shirts that are printed with lines from the show. It's not a classy move, but becoming a tourist attraction where they basically make fun of themselves, I think is the only way for them to survive.
You see, the thing about reacting to something bad happening to you, like Amy and Sammy do, is even if you're correct, your over-the-top behavior will ensure nobody can take your side. Nobody can feel sorry for you. At best, all we can say is, well, everyone involved was pretty dirty. So in 2015, Amy's baking company inevitably closed their doors, and the couple moved to California, where Amy made what I consider a good business decision. She wrote a cookbook filled with her baking recipes. Not a bad choice. After all, people couldn't really just reply to your book the way they could just call you or bother you all day at the restaurant. She cashed in on her name recognition, and frankly, she is a good dessert chef. You can't take that away from her. So it's a happy ending, right? Nah, it gets worse. When Kitchen Nightmares got Sammy deported.
Well, the kitchen nightmare for Amy's baking company is getting worse. The restaurant is back open tonight after its disastrous appearance on Fox's Kitchen Nightmares. But Bram Resnick has learned exclusive new details about the owner and why he may not be in this country for long. Bram?
That's right, Lynn Sue. I've learned that Samy Bouzaglo, an Israeli citizen, could be kicked out of the United States after a deportation hearing yesterday. I've also learned that international records show he is already banned from 2 other countries. I asked Sammy today about his immigration problems, but if you've watched the Kitchen Nightmares video, you already know what Sammy's answer was.
Samy Bouzaglo in person. Why is the government trying to deport you, sir? Why is the government trying to deport you, sir?
Everybody, out!
Sounds a lot like Samy Bouzaglo on Kitchen Nightmares with Chef Gordon Ramsay.
Don't with me.
Yeah, I will with you.
Yeah.
Who the you think you are?
Oh my God, Sammy's trying to hurt him.
He and wife Amy Bouzaglo were reopening Amy's baking company in Scottsdale on Monday after their disastrous display on Kitchen Nightmares.
You serve count, you.
The question now, how much longer will Samy Bouzaglo be around?
It's not your problem. It's nobody's problem.
Why were you in immigration court?
It's not your problem. It's not your problem.
Bouzaglo's attorney confirms he was at a deportation hearing Monday in Phoenix's U.S. immigration court. The removal process has been going on for more than 2 years, the attorney says. The 63-year-old Bouzaglo could be kicked out of the country.
The story is known already 20 years ago. 30 years ago it's known.
The deportation case appears to stem from Bouzaglo's record in Europe. Information obtained by 12 News through a high-placed source with international law enforcement ties shows Bouzaglo may be under ICE investigation because he did not disclose his past on his U.S. immigration petition. That past in Europe includes a criminal history of drug distribution, threats, and extortion. The record also shows that France and Germany no longer allow Bouzaglo into their countries. What happened 30 years ago? Was that your convictions in Europe? After giving us the international salute, Bouzaglo hailed the cops and ended the interview by having police remove us from the property.
Okay, where's security? Can you take them out from here, please? Can you take them?
Yeah, so as it turns out, when you make yourself one of the most hated people in America on a national television program and you're here on a visa, people might look into it when you call yourself a gangster in public and start playing the part of an ex-mobster who now runs a bakery. And that's exactly what U.S. immigration did. And when they did, they found out a number of things that Samy Bouzaglo had not told them about his past. Like how he was already banned from France and Germany due to his drug smuggling and extortion-laden past. And as will happen when you lie to immigration, get married here, and then go out of the way to let the public know you're a criminal, he lost his visa and was deported back to Israel. Gotta love that right to return. Samy, of course, says this is all a misunderstanding. So where are they now? Well, as of right now, Amy and Sammy are living in Israel, where they have resided the last few years and seem very happy. It's actually one of the few places on earth everyone is as confrontational as them. They're probably pretty normal there.
We live in a beautiful town, Netanya. We live right on the beach.
This is our patio. This is our building.
And we're getting ready to open a bakery downstairs.
It was a dance studio.
I really have been working on becoming a master baker, and I create digital content.
Today I'm making coconut cake. Sift together the baking powder and the flour.
And then I will link them to my Amazon store.
For me here in Israel, the life is honey. I'm enjoying this beautiful town, beautiful country. I'm retired.
So there you have it. Is the story of Amy's baking company over? I think so. It's part of our shared pop culture history of the time, and an episode of television that if you saw it, you'll probably never forget it and go back to watch it again. They were proto-internet lolcows before lolcows were really a thing. People so hateable, you just couldn't stop watching. But on the other hand, I also believe they're an example of how a reality show can ruin your life. Are they nuts? Of course. But do they deserve a daily torrent of hatred from people who have never and will never even step foot in their restaurant for 2 years? Maybe not. Was it right for Kitchen Nightmares to manipulate the footage to make it look like Gordon quit and they were crazier than they are? Probably not. It's one of those situations where someone is such a bad person that when they get taken advantage of and crapped all over, people just run with it. We excuse it because Amy and Sammy are bad people themselves. They made every PR mistake you can make. Engaging with internet trolls, getting violent with your customers, and the way I see it, the community had every right to consider them a sideshow. But when it went national, it was just too much for them to take, and it resulted in a business closing and 2 people getting deported. There are no good guys here. 2 bad people got to meet people dirtier than them. Reality TV show producers. And this is not the only example of Kitchen Nightmares having restaurants that go under once Gordon leaves. In fact, the restaurants that he tried to help continuing to fail is the reason Gordon cited why they stopped the series after season 7. I also suspect that the fact that you will never top Amy's baking company probably also played a part. But whatever the reason, after this episode, Amy and Sammy had to leave America, and Kitchen Nightmares ended the following season. And that's it for today in our look back. I hope you enjoyed this video taking a look at Amy's baking company, and if you did, please hit the subscribe button for more and leave a comment below telling me what you thought. Later!